And when you think about what it takes for that phone to ring, it's kind of interesting. Somebody has to be willing to pick that phone up and call you with a great referral, one that they probably could call 4 or 5 other people that do the same thing. So the issue then becomes, why are they going to call me instead of the other 4 or 5 people? Our brands are critically important. And I know, maybe there's a number of us who might be with firms, but people don't do business with firms. They do business with people. And our personal brands are critically important. And I've always said that our brand is based on 20% utility and 80% perception. Let me give you an example. How many different car models do we have on the road today? They all have the same utility, right? They go from point A to point B. It's that perception, it's how it feels, it's how it comes across to you. 80% of why that phone is going to ring is because of someone else's perception of you. And what goes into that? It's how they feel about you. It's about what they know about you. And I think the best way for me to say why it won't ring is to identify 8 things that will impact that perception. The first thing is social style. For those who have worked with me over the years, the first thing I do, and I'm starting a new client tomorrow, is give them a DISC profile. DISC. Now, why do I do that? The first part of a connection is tapping into someone else's social style. I might not be the same social style as any of you, but if I understand your social style, I know how to modify my behavior so we can have a connection. So we have to, when we meet people, we have to understand what their social style is and how we can connect with them. It's not about us, it's about them. That's number one. Another thing that holds a lot of people back from getting the right referrals is lack of clarity. Well, I do work for middle market companies, and those middle market companies have issues. Great. Can anybody give me a real definition of middle market? It is that we have to have clarity. If I say to you, I work with privately held companies based in Southern California that are involved in manufacturing and specifically in technology, and they're doing between $5 and $25 million a year. Does that give you some clarity about the type of clients I work with? They're so broad and too general. And what happens to a lot of people is they're afraid to talk specifics. Why? Because they want to be fly paper. They want to be able to catch anything. And in that fear, they end up losing opportunities. So clarity is really important. The second thing I do with a new client is we always develop a 3-year picture of where we want to take our business and our life. And then once you understand revenue, who are the clients going to be? And this is where we get very clear about who the clients are, in what market segments, and what the average revenue per client would be. And why is that average revenue per client important? Because we can't achieve our revenue objectives if we don't stay in the market and market segments that we've chosen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, we all can get referrals, but if your market segment's 25 to $100 million companies and somebody calls you with a company operating out of its garage, you just say, sure, I'll take that. What's the most precious commodity that we all have? Time. Time. The third thing is not having a clear value proposition. If people don't understand what you do for clients and how they're going to benefit from working with you, you're a commodity. It's really important. It's not what we do for. These people aren't concerned with what we do. They're concerned with why we do it. Why are we in the business that we're in? What's the passion for that? I can tell you there's a lot of people out there that are just out there to make their rent payment and pay their bills. Are those the kind of people that you want to put in front of a client? Or do you want somebody that's really passionate about what they do? Number 4 is inauthentic people. People trying to be something that they're not. It's important that we're authentic with people. It's important that they know who we are all the time. Issue for all of us is our inability to differentiate. If you can't differentiate what you do, your business, and who you are, you meld in with everybody else. So people don't give referrals to groups. People give referrals to people. And it's not how many people we all know, and it's not how many people we have in our contact management systems. It's the few key people where we have an unbelievable strong relationship. And Evan is just focusing on quantity, not quality. If I meet a lot of people and I hand out a ton of cards, the probability is that somebody's going to call me. Doesn't happen. Every once in a while, somebody out of way back when might call us and say, "Hey, I remember you at some meeting, and you had some." How often does that happen? And guess what? We don't need a lot. Anybody that's ever worked with me will tell you, if you have 10 or 15 level ones, what we call level ones, over just a 3-year period, it's a done deal. You'll hit your numbers. We all need those key relationships that we can count on. I mean, you have to be in their market segment. You can really like somebody. You can feel like you can do some things with them. But if you're not playing in the same sandbox, I can't help you. And I want to help you. So we have to make sure that we are absolutely working in the same sandbox together. And how do we do that? So let's say that I meet Dawn, okay? And I see Dawn on one of these Zoom meetings, and I start out and I send him that note. Hey, Dawn, I enjoyed seeing you today. Based on what you're doing and I'm doing, I think there may be some things we can do together. How about let's do a Zoom call together? Dawn writes back, great, Ken. So we agree on a date and time. And in that first phone call, I don't care about his business. All I care about is Dawn. I want to get to know Dawn. Because I want to see if I can really develop a good personal relationship with him. Is he authentic? Does he care? Is he interested, in life? What about his family? That kind of thing. And so let's say that at the end of that meeting, I'm convinced that he's a great guy, and I'd like to get to learn more about his business. So I say, Don, I really enjoyed our time today. How would you feel if we reconvene maybe sometime next week to really get into understanding each other's businesses and the type of clients that we work with. Would you be okay with that? Don goes, yeah, Ken, let's do that. So then our next meeting, what we really want to try to understand is, are we operating in similar market segments? If we're not in similar market segments, I can't help them. And if somebody says to me, well, yeah, Ken, I work with middle market manufacturers, I know that I really need to dig down and find out what middle market means. So anyway, let's assume at the end of that meeting that Don and I are absolutely in each other's market segments. No question I can help him. And I don't worry about him helping me, because if I can help him, in all probability, it's going to reciprocate, right? The last step is level 2A. It's what we call the PIP level. You can really like somebody, you can be in their market segments, but I can tell you, if they don't have the PIP, you're wasting your time. And this is where a lot of people get booted out. What is PIP? PIP is being purposeful. PIP is being intentional. And PIP is being passionate about what you do. Who would you rather do business with? Somebody that's got the PIP, or somebody that's out there trying to make their rent payment? It's, it's slam dunk. You've got to feel it from them. You've got to feel like they have the same passion for their business, and they have the same passion for making a difference for their clients as you do. And if you're not feeling it, don't force it. If they haven't been on time for the meetings, if they haven't followed up the way they said they would, don't force it. They're still nice people. They can be in your contact management system, but they're not going to achieve that real special relationship that you're looking for. So let's assume throughout all of this, Don did exactly what he said he was going to do. He sent me a couple things he said he's going to do. He's just been fabulous. So he and I are having a conversation about something else today, and I think today's the day. I'm going to see if Don would like to be a level 1. And by the way, this process can take 30 days. It can take 60 days. You don't rush it. But let's say that he and I are on a Zoom call this morning, and I'm saying, I'm going to see if he'd like to be a level 1. We never assume that this is going to be a level 1 relationship. It is an explicit offer and agreement. So I might say, Don, it's occurred to me that you and I have really had an opportunity to get to know one another. But like you, I'm really busy. I'd love to sit here and tell you I think about you all the time, but unfortunately, I just don't. Because I'm spinning all my plates, just like you are. But I had this idea, and I wanted to bounce it off you. What if you and I just did a Zoom meeting once a month? I don't know, 20 minutes or so. And I promise you, when we get on that call, I will have looked at my calendar for anybody, any situation, any idea that might be helpful to you. We have 12 half-hour meetings scheduled that will allow us to help each other with one significant event over the course of a year. We don't put any pressure on this. We say one significant event, but given that kind of a relationship, does the possibility exist that we might do more than one? Yeah, there is. I can tell you this alone, and you have to manage it. And of course, we've got all this stuff internally in our site to help people manage their relationship system. If you manage it properly, I saw one of the guys I used to coach not too long ago up in LA, and I said, how many level 1s you got now, Pat? And he said, I got 9, can't have had any more. I couldn't handle the business.